your background.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Hao. I was born and raised in Vietnam, but I married a Singaporean, so that's how I ended up here. I started my career about 13 years ago. So first started in consulting, and then I went to business school in the US. And after that, I moved to investment. So we've been working at hedge fund for now 7 years. And then in exactly this time last year, then I started my ETA process. And now currently I'm a CEO of Inborn. We are a very established waterproofing service company in Singapore.
Okay, cool. So today, specifically on how, I want to just kind of like contextualize whatever how we're sharing today in terms of the content that I already shared with you. So the why, the search process, and also the deal. I think I'm going to just skip fast forward a little bit from the context point of view as well, because how I've managed to achieve something that I have not. Shake your head. That's called seller financing. From a technicality point of view, we'll go deeper into it the second half of today. Right. So, but I think without further ado, I would like how to maybe kind of like just go deep down into the motivation. Right. So from the why. So if I can just ask some guiding questions here, then share from your own words. So well, from here, I think folks can see, I think you have a fantastic career. Coming from McKinsey, Shopee, etc. Right? So it's a great career. I think what made you walk away from that path, right? And to buy a SME waterproofing company in Singapore?
Yeah. So for a long time, I actually have always wanted to run my own business.
Yes.
From very young age, before I started working. So I spent time in consulting, in tech, in investing. Then I think that quite after I had my second kid, I moved in here. Then with 2 young kids, I started thinking about like having more control and autonomy in my career. And also another factor is I was at the point that I didn't find as much joy or fulfillment from the full-time job. So that was kind of the turning point. I met someone, Anthony, actually, who's another Penn alum, and he also one of the first person doing ETA here in Singapore. He bought a bunch of new schools. And that's when I came across the ETA concept. I actually tried to start something from scratch before. I realized it's really not easy, like the 0 to 1, and I feel like I didn't really enjoy a lot of the work in the 0 to 1 part. So when I come across the ETA concept, I become very hooked. Then I started, being very serious and started the search process in first quarter last year.
So for you guys, so Anthony was the speaker for our first session. So I'm going to share the transcript with you guys, the YouTube video recording as well. We share that over so you guys can take a look as well. So Anthony is a mentor advisor to us as well. So I think this is really unsaid and a little bit personal, which I hope you can share with the class here. Right? So ETA, especially if you are with a partner, with your spouse, etc., is that journey and that conversation today. Some people avoid, but I'm a big proponent of having talked through that because this is a very big conversation itself. Right? So how did that conversation happen with Arthur? And Arthur is her husband. He was also a participant in the first workshop bootcamp with you. And what are your words of wisdom to the class here, right? Talking to your family, like this is the journey I want to go.
Actually, so my husband is still working full time, by the way. And I believe that each of us should have our own kind of space and our own endeavor. But the conversation is because we talk very regularly about family investment, like how you grow our wealth, how you manage our finance, right? Because especially when you have kids. So this is just in that context in terms of, okay, now I want to go to buy a business, and how does that fit into our overall family portfolio? I think the conversation is that we have exposure to, we actually invested in a couple of other type assets like public equity, there's something called property, you know, like a few other things, but we haven't had any investment or exposure to like direct investment to a SME and based in Singapore. So we thought that it could be a very good kind of diversification, especially if we could find a high quality business to apply. So we sit down and we think about like, okay, what is the right exposure that we want, you know, what is roughly a percentage of the portfolio that we will feel comfortable allocating to this investment. And for me personally, one question when I do DD is that, you know, in finance we call value at risk. What's the worst case that could happen? Let's say I put this amount, I want to allocate this amount to this project. In the worst case, how much money do I lose? And can the family swallow that? Then that's when we feel comfortable and we have kind of a certain, you know, like guidance in terms of how we work into this financial perspective.
Okay, no, thank you so much for that. I'm going to go into the meat now, right? So during that process, how do you search? How do you come into Winborn, right? Like, what was that process for you in evaluating the so many businesses out there?
Yeah, so my search process is actually a lot less sophisticated, like what you know people like Jen Cat or Eric is doing, because I came to Singapore. I'm not native to Singapore. My husband is Singaporean, but I'm not native to it, and I don't speak Mandarin. And you know, all the network I had before also not in the SME space. You know, that's when I work in kind of like, you know, mostly work with mid-sized enterprises, right? So I know my disadvantage, and you know, I don't have a lot of proprietary deals access, you know, or no like good friends with brokers out there. So I walk in a very, you know, I just go to you know, platforms. There's certain brokers. You go just talk to everyone. You look at different platforms. I feel like it's no proprietary access. Very basic process, and I think I came across waterproofing or Winborn is it's more like when you go out there at the point when, you know, there's a lot of these SME owners, they're not very savvy, and then now I look back, I think both the owners and the brokers that we hire also not very savvy, so they didn't know how to market the opportunity properly. Then if anyone's like me who you feel like don't have a lot of advantage in terms of sourcing, what's your advantage is how do you uncover something that look like rock, but it's actually a hidden gem, right? That's why I was somewhat also a lucky thing when I came across this. Like at the beginning, I also like, don't bother looking at this opportunity, but then when I dig to a second and third layer, I was like, okay, it seems like an interesting thing, and then the more I dig into it, I realize is the seller, the broker themselves are really not sophisticated enough to know how to market properly, and they also don't know any like people like you guys or you know any proper channel to market it to maybe higher profile buyers.
So towards that as well, like maybe Winborn aside, like why waterproofing? Like why was that a concentration interest that kind of vertical?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So I came from a journalist background. Both when I was you know, investor and consultant, I look at very industry agnostic. Look at different businesses. For me, when I walked into the search, I didn't really have a sector focus, to be honest, because I'm trained as a journalist model, you know, especially because I want to buy business in Singapore. Right? We want to settle here. I don't want to spend too much time traveling outside, right? So Singapore is not a big market in terms of geography, right? Because I heard like you can only narrow, you can't narrow too much in all dimensions, right? Geography or sector or expertise, whatever, right? So I actually more flexible in terms of industry, right? And what I want to focus is high quality asset, high quality business instead of what sector, what industry. The business had to be established enough, has to be cash flow generative. My appetite is I want to go for overlook or niche businesses, the things that people don't necessarily want to do or necessarily pay attention to.
Okay, no, that's great. The things that you shared with me during the process was how we we catch up during the whole time and up until the point that she acquired the business. From what I understand, that there was a competitive bidder going against you. So, and you managed to get in like even lower than your competitor, from what I understand. And a lot of what you just shared with me is attributed to trust. Right? So I think the question here is, how did you establish that trust with the seller, the owner, knowing with you coming as a journalist, not Singaporean, etc.
So I think ultimately we had I had to fight with a competitive bidder who at the beginning actually the seller wanted to go with that company. I came in later. Surface as a more, he prefers someone who's a male, who's a local, there's a lot of factors, and in the end, I think ultimately it comes with conviction and speed. I show that I have conviction in the business. I'm very serious to buy this business. Ultimately they want to exit, right? They want someone to pay them and then buy the business. So and also he also care about the legacy, meaning does this person also care about taking my company, right? Taking good care of company. So I show him that I can move at a very very fast pace, finish DD on time, show him I'm willing to pay down the deposits, and I mean a lot of people in the process, I think especially the buyers, it's tough, right? Like when you get cold feet or you don't have enough funds. Ultimately, we win because of that. I still remember when I finished the DD in financial DD, and then the other guy wanted to extend for 3 more months to do the DD. That's when the seller got frustrated, and then he switched the stance completely and go to me because that means this guy might not be serious. You open DD to both parties, one can complete in 1 week. How can you need to extend 100 more days? So ultimately, because my seller, he was trying to sell the business for a year before that, just nothing could convert. So he was very drained already, he just really wanted to move on to retire. So ultimately, it's just showing your commitment, showing that you can move fast, and be serious.
Awesome. So I'm going to go straight to the question that you have, like specifically again from your class. Question was like, I'm a generalist. Like, can I operate businesses that are very specific in terms of the processes, right? So now that you have, like retrospectively, how would you look at it?
Yeah. I remember I was sitting in this room a year ago, I had the exact same concern. Even though before that I looked at many different businesses from like consultant or investor perspective, not yet as like a new CEO, right? I had the exact same concerns. I read a lot of like content, or especially there's this podcast I will highly recommend if you want to look into it further. It's called Acquiring Minds by Will Smith.
Yes,
so it's a very good podcast that this guy interviewed a lot of ETA operator or entrepreneurs in the US. Right? Acquiring Minds by Will Smith. A lot of inspiring stories, and I remember I listened to almost 100 stories in his episode. And then I realized there's so many cases that people buy businesses that they have no idea how, like they have zero experience in that space. And I just think to myself, if there's people already done that